Welcome back, and to shed more light on the current escalation in Gaza, we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Raouf Gaafar, political analyst. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my dear.
Dr. Raouf, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a press conference today with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on the current escalation taking place in Gaza, and he also paid condolences for the Palestinian civilians slain in the Ahli hospital attack in Gaza, which led to the death of hundreds of innocent victims. And he also condemned in the strongest terms the brutal attacks against the Palestinian territories during the past few days. Sir, how do you assess the current situation and the current escalation taking place in Gaza, especially after the latest attack late last night on the hospital?
Undescribable. I mean, we cannot find a word. We have seen atrocities. We have seen attacks and wiping out buildings and districts in the northern Gaza. But to reach the extent of bombing a hospital, this is completely inhuman. I mean, it cannot be acceptable. I am surprised a little bit about the reaction of the world community. I mean, we have not seen any condemnation worldwide about these inhuman atrocities. We are very upset. I mean, we are very sad. Not that we are Egyptians and they are our fellow Arabs, but from the pure and simple humanitarian point. Normally, when it's a full-size war, hospitals are out of the targeting areas of the enemy. So now we cannot understand. I mean, very, very pathetic situation. It's very sad, and I hope that it comes to an end, and it has to come from a strong interference of the whole world, condemning such not atrocities, but such terrible and inhuman acts from the Israeli side.
Right. Sir, also President Sisi asserted rejection to any attempts to seal off the Palestinian cause and opposed the displacement of the Palestinian people. Now, how do you see the idea of this displacement, and how can Egypt stand firmly against the displacement of the Palestinian people?
The fact of displacing people in itself is not. It does not stand to any laws, international or even local. The idea is to change the geography of the area, which will never happen, and encircling the Gaza Strip in a way to prevent humanitarian aid, food, medicines, and what have you from coming in. This again is something ferocious, something inhuman. So we can see that all the actions of Israel goes beyond retaliation. It is undescribable, as I said, something one cannot find words to explain it. Completely against human rights, against international law, and they don't, frankly, they don't care apparently about international community, about who is with and who is against. I mean, they are doing what they want, so in my opinion, the world has to stand firm, very firm, in front of such acts. And hopefully this siege around the Gaza Strip should end, and they should allow people, wounded people, to get help from somewhere. They should allow food and humanitarian products to come in. This is the least they could do. Of course, we completely condemn and reject displacement, and there must be a way to put pressure on Israel to stop such things.
Right. Well, Dr. Raouf, President Sisi also reiterated in his speech today at the press conference with the German Chancellor that Egypt has not closed Rafah border crossing, and added that bombings by Israel of the Palestinian side of the crossing have prevented the aid operations. Now, how do you think can we facilitate the reaching of the humanitarian aid to the Palestinians?
There must be a way. I mean, as you said, we've opened the gates. We've opened the Rafah corridor for humanitarian aid to come in through air, and more than 350, as we read, and even more now. Trucks are queuing to try and go in, and what the other side does is that he blocks the movement of such humanitarian aid by maybe destroying the roads or one way or the other. So, as I said, our president stood firm from day one. I think that, as I said, having spoken with the German council yesterday or the day before, he had again talks with the foreign minister the Secretary of State. As of course a reaction, the summit that was supposed to be held in Jordan was cancelled, because if the world community does not move and take a firm standing, then I don't know. Frankly speaking, it's a situation that we've never faced before. Completely unfair fight is happening. Excessive force is being used, as we call it. Collective punishment is being applied, and these are all against humanity and against international law.
Right. Well, sir, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said today in the press conference that Germany seeks to support Egypt's efforts to de-escalate tensions and stop the Israeli violence. Now, how do you see the reaction of not only Germany, but also the international community with all what's taking place of the Israeli aggression in Palestine?
I mean, to support or to second the Egyptian opinion, in my humble opinion, is not barely enough. I mean, it's not a matter of, yes, we agree with you on try to stop what's happening and find a peaceful way to end the atrocities, etc. is not enough. I mean, in my opinion, it has to be a movement from the European Union as a whole, a firm declaration to Israel, putting the extreme pressure to convince Israel to change its despicable attitude. It has to come from the United Nations. Now, Russia tried to, through the Security Council, to pass something to condemn what is happening. It couldn't go. So, I mean, it's good to be, of course, on our side and to adopt our point of view regarding this matter, but I think it needs more force, more power coming from the world community, not just one country or the other.
Well, sir, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres also said that attacks by Hamas group on Israel did not justify the collective punishment of Palestinians and called for an immediate ceasefire. He appealed for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, reiterating what he called two urgent humanitarian appeals. Now, how do you assess the stance of the United Nations with regards to what's taking place in Gaza?
Of course, it's very, very beautiful what the Secretary General is saying. But the point is, we want to transform his words into action on the grounds. How can he do that? I mean, maybe he can ask for a meeting of the General Assembly, maybe. I mean, it needs more than just sympathizing with the victims and not accepting the collective punishment that is taking place. It's very good, of course, but I think it needs more action. It needs something tangible, something that the world see, that something is going on the ground to put pressure on Israel to stop what it is doing. And I appreciate what he said, of course, but I think we need much more. I think we need much more.
Right. Well, Sir Guterres also called on Israel to immediately allow unrestricted access to humanitarian aid to respond to the most basic needs of the people in Gaza, the overwhelming majority of whom are women and children. Now, how do you think his words can change to actions? As we've seen, also the Western media is not well aware of everything taking place on the ground in Gaza.
Of course. Israel, I mean, has some leverage on the worldwide media, so that's why we do not hear media coverage as it was supposed to be. This is from one side. The other side is, as I said, they are asking for humanitarian help to go through. Point is, the leaders of Israel do not listen and do not fulfill their obligations. Completely against, as I said, humanity and international law. So it's high time to put pressure. I don't know how they will do it, but there must be a way to put pressure and to convince the Israelis that this is not just, this is not fair, this is not human, and as you rightly said, the basic requirements have to go through, and the people living in Gaza, nothing to do with what is happening. They are pure and simple victims, and they should not be treated that way.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Raouf Gaafar, political analyst. Many thanks for your insights, sir. And dear viewers, we will be continuing our coverage on the current escalation taking place in Gaza after the